is 9 News at 5.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. South Australia's border will remain open to Victoria for now, with authorities closely monitoring rising cases there. Harvey Biggs is at Adelaide Airport. Harvey, our Premier says there's no need to act yet.
Yeah, but that's because Victoria has recorded 3 new cases of coronavirus today and all are linked to known infections, giving authorities here great confidence that they are starting to get on top of this cluster. And we were here as many people arrived into South Australia from Melbourne today. They'll be constantly updated while they're here from SA Health as to any hotspots that might emerge in Victoria that mean they will have to isolate. They're also being urged to monitor their own symptoms and to get tested if they start feeling ill. The message for South Australians going to Victoria is still reconsider if that travel is necessary, but for now that border remains open.
The reality is that the new cases in Victoria today, I'm informed, are linked to previous infections, and so not nearly as worrying as a new infection bubbling up. So I'm every confidence in the Victorian health team to put that net over that cluster which exists over in Victoria and to bring it under control as quickly as possible. So no changes to our border with Victoria envisaged at this point in time.
As for New South Wales, Edward, they've had no new cases of coronavirus today, which is great news, but we will not be lifting our hard border closure with them until they've had 14 days straight of no community transmission. As for South Australia, we've had 4 cases of COVID-19 detected today, all from overseas travellers who are all in hotel quarantine.
Okay, some good news. Harvey Biggs, thank you. A family is this afternoon in mourning following the death of a young father killed when he lost control of his car near Kapunda. As Keziah Sullivan reports, police are now trying to work out exactly what went wrong.
The 30-year-old father of 5 grew up here in Riverton and was a much-loved member of the community. The heartbreak and devastation filtering through the region today. Zach Ornger was behind the wheel of this Ford sedan when he lost control on Tarlee Road around 4:30 a.m. His car rolling and slamming into a tree before coming to rest wedged on top of a fence post. Emergency crews rushing to the scene, but there was nothing they could do to save Zach, who was the only person in the vehicle. The death leaving loved ones of the father of 5 in shock. His devastated family releasing a statement saying words cannot describe how they are feeling, adding they will always love him unconditionally and forever.
Any death is sad. I lost a brother a few years back from an accident, so I know what the trauma that the family would be going through at this time. It's tragic. Any time is a hard time, but especially during holidays and that, and makes it worse.
Investigators are now trying to work out exactly what caused the crash, with skid marks clearly visible on the road. His life, the second lost on our roads in just 4 days. Following the shocking start to the year on our roads, authorities are pleading with people to travel safely as they return home from holidays.
Police have seized guns, ammunition and drugs during a raid in the northern suburbs. Police say they uncovered these 3 firearms at a Para Hills address yesterday, as well as a trafficable amount of methamphetamine. Detectives arresting a 41-year-old man who was charged over the haul. The second round of the state's popular tourism voucher program has been expanded to help the industry hard hit by coronavirus. But as Rory McLaren reports, some claim the scheme doesn't go far enough to support businesses doing it tough.
It's the state government program designed to encourage people to stay in SA, providing support to hotels and accommodation providers, boosting the struggling tourism sector. And after the successful take-up of the tourism voucher scheme last year, a second round is going on sale to the public tomorrow.
Venues like the soon-to-open Majestic Suites in North Adelaide set to benefit, with the vouchers becoming available online at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
We had over 1,000 room nights come through Majestic Hotel properties across the state with the first round, and we know that this round will be equally as successful.
Like the first round, people can get $100 towards CBD and North Adelaide accommodation. $50 can go to a night with suburban and regional providers. And stays can be booked with the vouchers from this Thursday.
Last time, 50,000 vouchers went in just 90 minutes.
SA is also the first state to make tourism vouchers available to interstate residents. Authorities say that's key to helping keep the local industry afloat.
What we know is that interstate visitors to South Australia spend on average 3 times that of a South Australian, so they're great visitors for us to bring in. They spend a lot of money, they get out to our regions.
But the opposition argues the scheme doesn't go far enough. The vouchers can only be used on accommodation and not experiences or tours.
These industries, these businesses deserve as much support as those people in the accommodation side of the business.
They could be included in a third round of the program, which is already being planned.
People who buy a voucher in the second round will have until the end of March to use it.
Australian workers hardest hit by the pandemic are receiving less financial help from the federal government from today as JobKeeper is wound back. Political reporter Fiona Willan has more now from Canberra.
From today, your JobKeeper payments will be wound back, and how much they're wound back by will depend on how many hours you work. If you're a full-timer, your payment will go down by $200 a fortnight to $1,000. For those on fewer than 20 hours a week, it will drop from $750 a fortnight to $650. And the program will end altogether on March 28. Now, the government has long made the point this is temporary support, but Labor and the business community are calling for it to be continued at the higher rate in light of the new outbreaks in Victoria and New South Wales.
At the very time that restrictions are going up and therefore economic activity going down, the government's support goes down today.
As we've always said with these emergency supports, that they were targeted, they were scalable, and we wanted to make sure that we remained responsive to what was going on in the economy.
The Social Services Minister also said the government will continue to monitor the economy to make sure the support being provided is appropriate. More than 500,000 businesses are still relying on these wage subsidies to pay their staff. That means around 1.6 million workers are receiving them. That number might soon change though. As of today, businesses will need to satisfy another turnover test to prove they're still suffering enough of a downturn to qualify for the program.
Police are hunting for an arsonist who set fire to a basketball stadium at Hillcrest. Firefighters called to the former home of the North Adelaide Basketball Club on North East Road just before midnight. Crews had to cut their way inside the building but were able to save the stadium, which is now vacant. Police believe the fire was deliberately lit and want to hear from anyone who saw suspicious activity. Adelaide property prices have continued to soar despite the impact of COVID-19. As Olivia Grace Curran reports, there are more buyers than houses for sale, leading to strong competition in the local market.
Despite the tough economic impacts of COVID-19, Adelaide's property market forged ahead in 2020, and the trend's expected to continue well into the new year. Figures released today show Adelaide's market has only gained momentum since the pandemic began.
Strongest property market we've probably seen in almost a couple of decades.
House values up 5.9% in 2020, nearly 3 times normal growth, with Adelaide performing better than many other capital cities, the Victorian market slipping 1.3%. Nationally, house prices rose by an average of 3%.
Just buying it to invest. I mean, you're going to rent it out, the property.
Agents say the pandemic encouraged people to upsize, extra bedrooms and studies high on buyers' wish lists.
And then if you combine that with low interest rates as well as very limited stock that's available, create an environment of competition where property prices have really soared.
Our median house price now sits at just under $470,000.
We had more buyers than what we had home sellers. That just simply created competition.
Experts seeing more people choosing to move to Adelaide. The working from home phenomenon also boosting the local market.
The people that we saw in the marketplace were now looking at Adelaide and still looking at keeping their jobs in Melbourne or Sydney.
Given the lower numbers of properties on the market, buyers are advised to do their research and be prepared to negotiate.
3 South Australians have become instant millionaires after winning almost $1.6 million each in Saturday's lotto draw. But as Oliver Haig reports, there is one major problem.
For 3 South Australian lotto players, their new year has gotten off to the perfect start. But the question is, do they know it? Each of them has walked away with almost $1.6 million each in Saturday's $30 million mega draw, but none of them have claimed their prize.
Some people probably don't even know yet because there's so many tickets sold. I think most people would be happy to check their tickets in the next week or two.
The winning entries bought at the Aqaba Hotel, the Lotteries kiosk at Arndale and a news agency in Port Augusta.
Gives everyone, the staff and ourselves and all of our regular customers a talking point, and it's also exciting for the local community.
Some punters hoping for the best, checking their tickets today. The 3 mystery South Australians among 19 Division 1 winners nationwide.
I rocked up this morning, they're going, have you won a ticket? And I went, no, I checked it already this morning.
It wasn't the big one, unfortunately.
Fantastic, I'll probably get more tickets from here from now on.
Both Adelaide winners are unregistered, while Port Augusta's entry has contact details out of date. Punters are being reminded to check their tickets. They have 12 months before their entry expires.
Thousands of cricket fans will miss out on watching the Sydney Test at the SCG, with crowd capacity for the event halved. Reporter Bill Hogan has the details.
The Sydney Test has been given the green light at the SCG, but capacity has been sliced in half, with 25% allowed into the SCG for the match on January 7. What was originally planned for around 24,000 people piling through the gates, now only 10,000 fans can attend each day. The decision came late this afternoon, with Cricket Australia making the cut. They say it's for the safety of the spectators.
We've had to be flexible, we've had to be nimble. We've relied on the support of the health authorities, but it's been the same principles that we've applied all summer. We want to deliver the entire summer as scheduled, if at all possible. We have a range of contingencies in place for any eventuality.
Now, Acting Premier John Barilaro defended the decision to allow crowds into the summer spectacle that would normally draw more than 40,000 fans. He says New South Wales Health is more than equipped to deal with these crowds.
And as a state and our venues, like the NRL Grand Final, Origin or the Everest or other race days, the Big Bash, we can and we have shown that we can run events in this state in a safe way that protects our citizens.
Australia touched down in Sydney only moments ago ahead of the Test match on Thursday. They were ushered straight to their hotels where they'll stay until the game begins. Only training sessions will be a reasonable excuse to leave that quarantine area. India are also due to arrive later on today. Now, the biggest challenge for Cricket Australia on the day will be the rain, with it forecast to pour during the Thursday Test, but Venues New South Wales said they control the crowd if people were to move indoors.
There's a bit more traffic on the roads, with lots of people returning to work today. As expected, there are lengthy delays on the north-south motorway as the Regency and South Road works get underway. Busy too on Days Road at Croydon Park. There's been a smash on Port Wakefield Road near Bolivar, and traffic's building on the Southern Expressway near Sheriff's Road. Well, time now to have a look at the weather in Adelaide as we bring up the live weather snapshot. It's currently 20.8 degrees in the CBD. It feels a touch cooler than that. Our maximum of 21.2 degrees came just before 10:30 this morning, and the overnight low was 16.7 degrees. We'll have all of the weather details and the forecast a little later in the bulletin. But next in the news at 5, no community transmission cases for New South Wales as the state masks up. And utter destruction, cars sent flying as a bus ploughs into a home.
It's a brand new year, Agent K. Our mission is clear: make 2021 the biggest,
best,
greatest year ever.
Morning, Agent B.
K.
A.
A.
K. A. Where's T? MIA?
SA. Okay.
Yep, it's going to be a blockbuster year, all right.
Every Australian waking up with the best breakfast news, button up.
I mean, nobody does it better.
Tell you what, Kay, I am pumped for this.
It's going to be our best year ever.
What, you mean better than this year? Well, I guess it has been a dog of a year.
There's one more thing. We have to erase all memory of 2020. 36.1.
Not as hot as I thought I was.
The Today Show, Australia's most talked about breakfast show.
Next time you're on your bike, remember, there's a lot riding on it.
Still right to drop them off?
Where were you thinking?
How about Macca's again?
Which one? There's two of them.
If you're facing north, turn right at the one on the left.
Seriously?
Traffic is building up on the freeway, but looks like traffic is flowing freely past the Macca's on Church Street.
Oi! Man, that was so hectic.
At Nurofen, we know demanding lives can cause headaches, but pain should never be in charge of your day. Unleash the speed of liquid with Nurofen's advanced liquid capsules. You do the full-on day, we'll sort the pain out fast.
Alan likes to take care of his health, but is he doing enough for his gut health? A daily dose of Metamucil would help remove toxins by cleansing his insides to help him stay regular and support a healthy gut. You'll find Metamucil for a great price at Chemist Warehouse.
So, now that we're open up here, check out our great range and compare.
A dozen a score, there's one thing for sure, you'll never know what you'll find there. Oh, you'll find it in kilos and pounds. You'll find it on heaps and on mounds. In gallons and liters, in yards and in meters. You'll find it at Paramount Browns.
Aldi's back-to-school range passes the kid test. With comfy joggers, only $7.99. And assorted paints, only 99 cents each. Kid-proof school gear at Aldi's low prices. That's good different.
Today we'll be offering...
They're gone. What do you mean they're gone?
The snacks.
They're gone, missing.
Well, they have to be here somewhere.
They're not here.
They can't just get up and walk away.
All right, only 13 more hours to go. You're gonna have to hold it.
For the first time in almost 3 weeks, New South Wales has recorded 0 cases of community transmission, with all 7 infections reported today traced back to travellers in hotel quarantine. Charles Croucher has the details.
For the first time in nearly 3 weeks, New South Wales has recorded 0 community transmissions of COVID-19. That was in the 24-hour reporting period until 8 p.m. last night. The bad news is, since that time, there have been 2 cases. They're both linked to the cluster that continues to grow in the city's west. That's all linked back to airport transfers, and that's a big issue that the state authorities are now looking at improving both the personal protective equipment and the way the transportation operates, and they will change that immediately to try and prevent any further outbreaks, particularly as more cases come back from overseas and the rate of infection internationally affects the rate of infection amongst passengers returning to Australia and returning to New South Wales. Our health authorities say testing will be the key moving forward. There were 22,000 tests in the 24-hour reporting period. Our Chief Health Officer wants that number up above 30 day in, day out to see any relaxations of the current restrictions that are both in place for the entire city, that is those people wearing masks, and particularly those in place in the northern part of the Northern Beaches, the only place in the state that's in a full lockdown. Here is Kerry Chan.
But again, we're urging those test numbers to well exceed the 30,000, so that's the challenge I put to you. As the Acting Premier indicated, we need to see those testing levels sustained, and that's because people were at those exposure venues for a number of days.
Clearly this is a step in the right direction. Health authorities remain concerned about the Western region, particularly any cases that have linked from the bottle shop in that particularly busy Christmas to New Year's period. So while the silly season may be over, the scare that came from it is not.
They've been mandated for nearly 48 hours, but as of today, anyone caught not wearing a mask indoors in Greater Sydney could be slapped with a fine. Reporter Sophie Walsh has the details.
Well, there's nothing like threatening people with a fine to get them to comply. Today is day 1 of mandatory masks being enforced across Greater Sydney, and a quick check of commuters heading into the city this morning found most people, around 90%, were playing by the rules. COVID clusters on the Northern Beaches and Barella prompted the New South Wales government to bow to pressure, making masks compulsory in a range of indoor settings, including shopping centres, cinemas, public transport, places of worship, hair and beauty salons and gaming venues. Police are issuing $200 fines from today for those who don't comply, although they won't be heavy-handed and say they will use discretion.
If you cannot wear a mask due to your medical condition, please, police are not going to take action against you. And please don't feel that you can't go out and about. And I would urge members of the community, when they actually see someone not wearing a mask, leave that judgment to police or to other enforcement officers.
The Australian Medical Association says while masks aren't the only line of defence against the virus, they're around 50% effective in stopping you from getting COVID, and if you've already got it, stopping you from passing it on.
They're not perfect at either of those things, but studies that we have are suggesting around about the 50% efficacy mark, maybe a little bit more, in both preventing that spread and also preventing you catching the virus.
And while we've seen some anti-mask groups stage protests, one at Bondi Junction, civil libertarians say these laws aren't infringing on people's rights.
Look, it's a proportionate response to the public health crisis that we have, and it's not really a serious infringement of people's freedoms.
Today, the New South Wales Health Minister also sent a message to anyone who doesn't want to wear a mask. It's simple: stay home.
Cyclone Imogen has made landfall. The Category 1 system crossing the coast at 9 o'clock last night at the town of Karumba in North Queensland. The storm bringing strong winds and heavy rain to the region, with a deluge expected to last a few more days before moving down the coast. The system has since been downgraded to a tropical low. Two Good Samaritans who ran to the aid of a bus driver suffering a medical episode have accidentally sent the bus flying into the front of a home south of Sydney. Here's reporter Caitlin Stedman.
3 people have been transported to hospital after a bus carrying 3 passengers crashed into this house in Cordo Heights just after 10 a.m. Witnesses say the driver suffered a medical episode and watched on in shock as he lost control of the bus. 2 off-duty nurses broke onto the bus and tried to render assistance.
They've turned the motor off, which seems to have inhibited some kind of hold mechanism on it, and the bus has rolled back probably 250 metres.
Hitting the power pole, the bus then turned and went straight for the house, knocking a structural beam below the veranda. Inside the home were 2 occupants, but they luckily escaped without injury.
It was quite scary to watch this big bus rolling down this hill and thinking, is there someone down there? Is there a car coming up that doesn't realise this bus is out of control?
The nurses and bus driver have been transported to Wollongong Hospital. No one on board the bus was injured. Emergency crews spent some time stabilising the house. The power pole is now being replaced before the bus is towed and an extensive clean-up gets underway.
2 men are critical and another 4 people are injured after the car they were travelling in smashed into a tree east of Melbourne. The Toyota Tarago was travelling along D Road in Millgrove when the driver in his 20s veered off the road, striking a tree around 10:30 last night.
The front 2 passengers, the driver and the other front passenger, have been airlifted to the Alfred Hospital with very serious injuries at this stage, and the other 4 rear occupants have been transported by road ambulance to various Alfred and or the Royal Melbourne.
Police are investigating the cause of the crash. A retirement village has been caught up in a dangerous bushfire emergency in Perth, with vulnerable residents forced to evacuate. The blaze destroyed multiple structures, threatening lives, with firefighters working through the night to bring it under control. Michael Stamp reports.
Well, there's no longer a threat to lives and homes here in Perth's southeast, but this is how close the fire came, coming from this bushland to these nearby homes, as more than 150 residents were evacuated from a retirement village. This is one of the 3 properties damaged, fire ripping through the property at the Riverside Gardens Estate Lifestyle Village in Gosnells. More than 100 firefighters battled the blaze through the night to bring it under control. The fire started late yesterday afternoon, quickly jumping the Tonkin Highway into the back of the retirement village. 150 residents forced to evacuate.
There was black smoke coming in, and I believe it came right up to the fence line of the village.
The safety of those residents was obviously #1 priority.
Kelly Turner and her daughters rushed home to rescue their dogs.
We are now in the red zone, so I brought the girls home to get the dogs and everybody out safe.
Major roads forced to close, but a drop in wind overnight saw the fire front slow to a standstill. Residents able to return to their homes. Around 6 hectares have been burnt through and firefighters still remain on the scene mopping up, wary of another wind change.
Now for a look at what's coming up in 9 News at 6. Will, a tragic start to the year on the state's roads.
Yeah, that's right. 2 lives lost in just 4 days, including a father of 5. He was killed in a crash at Kapunda this morning. Tonight, the tribute from his heartbroken brother. Also, a teenager fronts court accused of assaulting a police officer at Glenelg on New Year's Day. All those details and much more coming up in 9 News at 6.
OK, we'll see you a little later, Will. Next, leaked. Donald Trump exposed his pressure on Georgia to find a way to overturn the election results. And the singer of one of the world's most famous sporting anthems passes away.
The explosive new claims from a Hillsong whistleblower who says she was traumatised by her time in the church.
I was nothing to anybody.
A current affair tonight.
Say hello to weight loss success with Jenny Craig.
Now it's even easier to reach your weight loss goals with Jenny Craig.
Start today with our free 8-week membership, plus free delivery, cost of food additional.
So call Jenny Craig now.
Don't run out of data this summer with Vodafone's $30 prepaid plus plan. Get a huge 40 gigabytes total data on your first 3 recharges, then infinite data to browse at speeds of up to 1.5 megabits per second until your recharge expires. You rule with Vodafone.
I'm sorry I broke your window.
Don't worry, Damien. Look, I'm putting a claim in now. All done.
Oh, I don't want to break that too.
I see your car's fixed already.
It's good to be with the local team.
Home ground advantage.
This holiday is going to be awesome. Yes, the travel expert at RAA has organised everything. Just make sure you pack your hiking boots.
RAA is with you every step of the way, at home, on the road, and when it's time for a holiday, we're helping our members to
Keep on moving on.
Turn your face into an epic reminder for this Wednesday and get a textured queen-sized quilt cover set for $29.99. A 2-pack of supportive cotton-covered pillows for $14.99 and a fabric-upholstered storage ottoman with solid beechwood legs for $89.99. Only at Aldi. Good. Different.
Get into the Good Guys for big brands in cooking. Upgrade to the latest design and cooking technology, including steam, from brands like Smeg, Miele, Asco, Electrolux, Bosch, plus loads more. All the big brands in cooking at the Good Guys.
Save up to 50% off at Lazy Boy's New Year sale. Like the Taylor Power Recliner now 50% off. Or save hundreds on the Martelli Modular and $2,200 off the Arnica Suite. Celebrate savings at your nearest Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery now.
Think welcome. Think inspired. Think durable. Think options. Think vision. Think tiles and stone. Think Service Ceramics.
Let's get to work. James Jacks, will you look at that?
I told you to pay attention to the road.
Clearly this wasn't my fault. Maybe not, but you've taken a wrong turn on this one. Your insurance policy is monstrous.
You know, if you had Budget Direct car insurance, you'd get a hire car while yours gets repaired. And you could save hundreds.
Are we there yet?
Not at fault. Get a hire car while yours gets repaired. Just give us the other driver's details. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Good afternoon, Bethany Hisker with your latest traffic, thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon. In Croydon Park, expect delays on the north-south motorway and restrictions as well due to works between Adams Street and Grand Junction Road for the Regency Road to Pym Street project. North Terrace in the city slowing too. Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? Find out if you're entitled to compensation and speak to the experts at Duncan Bashir Hannon. Visit dbh.com.au. Don't settle for less.
You're watching Adelaide's 9 News at 5, coming to you live from Hindmarsh Square. Here are some of the stories we're following this hour. Police have seized guns, ammunition and drugs during a raid in the northern suburbs. A 41-year-old man has been charged. An arsonist who police believe set fire to a basketball stadium at Hillcrest is on the run. Luckily, firefighters were able to save the stadium. There's less financial help for those who lost work during the pandemic, with JobKeeper payments scaled back today. And despite the pandemic, housing prices in Adelaide have continued to soar, with more buyers than houses, giving the market a competitive edge. To world news now, and remarkable audio has been leaked of President Donald Trump pressuring a top election official in Georgia to overturn the result of the November election. Here's Nine's US correspondent Amelia Adams.
This is a stunning move by President Trump. Yesterday's phone call was leaked by the Washington Post. It went for over an hour, and in it, Donald Trump clearly pressures and pushes Georgia's Republican Secretary of State to find votes, to find a way to overturn the results of the presidential election in that state.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Brad Raffensperger standing firm despite the president at times threatening him with vague legal consequences. Reaction has been swift. One of the journalists who broke Watergate calling this the smoking gun tape.
And in any other presidency, this tape would be evidence enough to result in the impeachment of the President of the United States, his conviction.
He's not the only person to mention impeachment, and one of Joe Biden's senior advisors says there's now irrefutable proof of a president pressuring and threatening an official of his own party to fabricate the vote count. The call comes just 2 days before Georgia hosts elections to determine which party holds the majority in the US Senate. It also coincides with new members of Congress and the House being sworn in today, ahead of a critical and already dramatic week on Capitol Hill.
The US has marked an horrific milestone today, reporting a total of more than 350,000 deaths from coronavirus. President Trump was quick to respond, tweeting that the number is far exaggerated, accusing the nation's chief infectious diseases expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, of spreading fake news.
The deaths are real deaths. I mean, all you need to do is to go out into the trenches, go to the hospitals, see what the healthcare workers are dealing with. That's real. That's not fake.
And it seems that horrific death toll hasn't sunk in just yet for people in Miami, Florida. Thousands were captured shoulder to shoulder at a hotel pool party yesterday. The state reported more than 31,000 cases just in the first 2 days of 2021. To the UK now, where British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned tougher lockdown measures could be on the horizon as infection rates in England reach a new record high. Nine Europe correspondent Ben Avery has the details now from London.
Well, the UK opposition leader Keir Starmer is urging Boris Johnson to waste no time on this. He's saying that he should impose a third national lockdown within the next 24 hours to combat the skyrocketing number of COVID-19 cases, largely brought on by that new strain of coronavirus that's spreading across the country. There's been another 54,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the last 24 hours. The death toll in this country is now past 75,000. Boris Johnson has spoken in the last 24 hours. He has admitted that there are some tough times ahead, and he's hinted that there are some new restrictions on the way.
It may be that we need to do things in the next few weeks that will be tougher in many parts of the country. I'm fully reconciled to that.
Now, there is some more positive news for the UK, and that is that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine will begin being rolled out in just the next few hours, tomorrow morning local time. Now, Australia has also ordered a large amount of doses of this particular vaccine. 53 million will be available should the vaccine be approved, with the rollout to begin in March.
It's a sad day for Liverpool fans following the death of You'll Never Walk Alone singer Jerry Marsden. His band, Jerry and the Pacemakers, made the track famous, adopted by football supporters all over the world, even here in Australia, with this rendition at the MCG in 2013 by 95,000 fans. Jerry Marsden was 78 years old. Pope Francis has criticised people fleeing overseas to escape coronavirus lockdowns in Italy, saying it really saddened him to read newspaper reports of people catching flights to dodge government curbs and seek fun elsewhere. Speaking after his noon blessing, Francis expressed the need to show greater awareness of the suffering of others. Thousands of mourners have gathered in Iran to mark the anniversary of the killing of top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani and an Iraqi militia commander during a drone strike near a Baghdad airport. As part of a week-long series of events, a year on from the US-ordered killing, the scene of the bombing was sealed off by red ropes and adorned with candles lit by those visiting. Celebrities often dish out interesting side projects, and for actor Mark Wahlberg, that's a multi-million-dollar burger chain called Wahlburgers. Teaming up with the owners of United Cinemas, the Hollywood A-lister is now bringing famous fast food franchise Down Under. The first patty is expected to hit the fryer at Sydney's Circular Quay within months. Coming up, the latest on Adelaide's weather and Tom Wren with the Sports Snapshot.
Australia's Harriet Dyer sees what no one else can.
If you want to live here, I can help you.
The In-Between, Wednesday 8:30 on 9 and on 9 Now.
New mini hotcakes with Nutella have arrived at Macca's. Our famous hotcakes made mini with a delicious layer of creamy Nutella. Wherever summer takes you, we'll be here.
Hi, climb aboard, Dragon Rider.
Join a gang of unlikely friends.
Follow your heart and the truth will come to you.
On a magical quest.
Whoa!
Dragon Rider.
Forget 2020, bring on 2021 with Woolers. We got our list, let's shop. Rachel, I need some colour in the kitchen, a few candles and diffusers, some new cushions, and I love your wall art.
James, I'd love a fancy recliner, a new lounge for the family, something for entertaining, an outdoor setting, and I love the idea of a powered bed.
So come and shop where we do and meet the Woolers family.
Woolers, Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
Turn your face into an epic reminder for this Wednesday and get a textured queen-sized quilt cover set for $29.99. A 2-pack of supportive cotton-covered pillows for $14.99 and a fabric-upholstered storage ottoman with solid beechwood legs for $89.99. Only at Aldi. Good. Different.
Win a share of $10,000 with Bob Burns Blinds. Update your home and order today for your chance to win $1,000 off your purchase. With 10 winners over 10 weeks, the earlier you enter, the more chances to win. In-store, phone or at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
CMAX requires healthy males aged 18 or over to participate in clinical drug studies. Participants are paid anywhere between $300 to $7,000 or more. Visit CMAX at cmax.com.au.
Nice Gerberas, Keith. You know what else is nice? Insurance that does what you need it to do. Some only insure your house for a set sum. But if anything happens, will that be enough for you to repair or rebuild it as it was?
Morning, Keith!
Don't worry, Amy has an option that does, or pays you the amount of an assessed quote to do so. Does your insurer have a complete replacement cover option? Amy does.
Raspberry? Blueberry? Or why not both? At Macca's, there are 36 frozen Fanta flavours to discover for just $1. You can mix your favourites or enjoy a frozen Coke. A little goes a long way at Macca's.
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? Pino Clean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
The world is an amazing place, and we'll show you the best of it.
And that's simply something you don't see every day.
From the most exotic locations.
That's incredible.
To our own backyard.
The world's largest coral reef, right at your doorstep.
Great getaways. Thursday, 7:30 on 9.
Tom Wren's here now with the Sports Snapshot.
Thanks, Ed. We're going to start with some cricket first. The Aussie Test squad has flown to Sydney to prepare for Thursday's third Test. And whilst much of the build-up is on the location of the fourth Test, Australia needs to avoid defeat at the SCG to stay alive in the series. Jalissa Apps has more.
Well, after days of uncertainty, Australia's cricketers have finally touched down in Sydney, and Thursday's Test match is full steam ahead. But the bigger problem for Cricket Australia is the Gabba Test match. India reportedly aren't happy about the strict quarantine protocols they'll face in Queensland. Nathan Lyon has urged any cricketer complaining about life in the bubble to suck it up.
In my eyes, it's a very small sacrifice for us to get out there and play the game that we love and put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces around the world. So in my eyes, we just have to suck it up.
On the field, Australia's batting stocks will be, of course, likely bolstered by the return of David Warner from a groin injury. By his own admission, Warner says he probably won't be 100% fit, but Lyon says he's worth the risk.
I think David's an X factor. He's a world-class batter. We all know that. So, yeah, I'm 100% expecting David to go out there in the next couple of Test matches and do well.
And news just in, it's been revealed all Australian and Indian players and staff inside the bubble have tested negative to COVID-19 following a bubble breach by 5 Indian players who visited a Melbourne restaurant. The third Test is a must-win for Australia to keep the series alive, and it all starts on Thursday at the SCG.
Let's stick with cricket. A sloppy effort in the field has contributed to the Strikers' second straight loss in the Big Bash. Defending 150, the Strikers were their own worst enemy. Rashid Khan did put in another great display with the ball, taking 3 wickets, but it wasn't enough as the Sixers cruised home with 12 balls to spare.
Is that it? Yeah, it is. Another misfield. Sort of sums up the night for Adelaide Strikers. Sixers too good here at Metricon, winning by 7 wickets.
The Strikers will be in action at Adelaide Oval tomorrow night against the Melbourne Renegades. Adelaide United scored its first win of the A-League season, beating Melbourne City 2-0 in front of more than 10,000 fans at Highmarsh Stadium. Star striker Tommy Urich on the score sheet.
Rigo cuts it back, and here's Urich. Brilliantly worked by the Reds, and Tommy Urich has his first goal back in the A-League 5 years after his last goal, and Cooper's Stadium erupts.
Personally, for me, it's been a rough couple of years, so that one meant a lot, and especially coming back home now. As I said, home fans, first home game, first 3 points, so everything just looked good yesterday. So it was a really good feeling.
Defender Ryan Strain will have scans tomorrow, having injured his groin in the first half. The Reds now have 12 days off before their next match away to Perth. Overseas, and Chelsea manager Frank Lampard is under increasing pressure. The Blues going down to Manchester City 3-1, their 4th defeat in 6 matches.
Gundogan's on the twist and scoring a truly super goal. That is Manchester City at their best.
Meantime, Leicester is up to 3rd after a 2-1 win over Newcastle. A couple of big results there, Ed. Great result for Adelaide United. Yeah. Sensational, and we both got the memo.
We are. Tie. Sorry, I stole it from your drawer.
No, I was going to say, who wore it first? You wear it better.
You wore it best, definitely. Thanks,
you.
Freddie. Next, we'll take a look at what's trending, plus a New Year overhaul, the experts' advice on how to best handle your finances for the year ahead.
Helping Hugo, the family calling for Australia Post to pay for their pup's vet bill after he was hit by a delivery van in the driveway. A current affair tonight.
5 Star Outdoors, we're committed to the best quality outdoor solutions.
So whether it's roller shutters, cafe blinds, solar or roof restorations, we offer a one-on-one service.
And we offer free, no obligation quotes and no deposit finance.
5 Star Outdoors, your outdoor solution experts.
Feel good in a Feel Good massage chair. Massive sale now on. Not 5,000, 3,999. Not 4,000, 2,999. 100% money back guarantee, lifetime warranty. Feel Good massage chairs.
We build houses, which become homes. Dreams, which become realities. Statements of character and quality. a reputation of flexibility, value and commitment to deliver the best outcomes for our clients. We are a family building for your family. We are DeChellis Homes.
State Theatre Company South Australia's 2021 season is on sale now.
Protect your gutters from leaves and debris with All Seasons Gutter Guard. Right now, when you buy 50 metres of All Seasons Gutter Guard, you'll get the first 10 metres free, plus a free gutter clean. Visit allseasonsgutters.com.au.
At Image Robes, you can get built-in robes designed, made and installed on a budget to suit you. Image Robes are the manufacturers, so there's no middleman. Choose from a range of door finishes, including mirrored, with over 40 colours to choose from. Full 10-year warranty. New full-face drawer system with steel sides, 16mm base and silver anodised handles, plus soft closing options, all on a budget to suit you. Call or visit Image Robes for an in-home measure and quote today.
No need to shop around when you shop with Appliances Online, the world's biggest brands at great prices, including Bosch, Fisher & Paykel, Westinghouse, Samsung and Asato. For great prices every day, visit appliancesonline.com.au now.
The Australian Outdoor Living Sale is on now. Be quick to secure a custom pergola, patio or deck. Extend your living space outdoors while increasing the value of your home. Transform and extend your home today.
Look out, Australia. Here come the learners.
Come on, what are you doing?
New driving test. Tonight at 8 on 9.
Good afternoon, Bethany Hisker with your latest traffic, thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon. In Croydon Park, expect delays and restrictions on the north-south motorway between Adams Street and Grand Junction Road for the Regency Road to Pym Street project. Closures are in place through there, getting busy North Terrace in the city. Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? Find out if you're entitled to compensation and speak to the experts at Duncan Bashir Hannon. Visit dbh.com.au. Don't settle for less.
Let's look at the news and events getting a reaction online now. There's lots of talk about football star Cristiano Ronaldo today. The Portuguese star, who many claim to be the greatest, has passed another record. Playing for Italian side Juventus, he's eclipsed Brazilian star Pele's scoring tally of 757 goals. And these are some of Ronaldo's best.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Now the turns into trouble. Brilliant footwork. Amazing goal.
He scored twice against Udinese, taking the 35-year-old to second on the all-time scoring list behind Josef Bican. This TikTok video is getting lots of views today. A father and his daughter recording themselves singing California Dreaming back in 2008. And with his daughter, now an adult, they've recorded it again and edited the clips together. Those clips around 12 years apart, getting lots of shares on websites today. Well, apart from today, we've been enjoying mostly sunny skies here in Adelaide, but it's a different story in Israel. Check out these shots of heavy fog clouding the city of Tel Aviv. Only the top of some buildings can be seen peeking through the fog in some of the most affected areas. It's caused some traffic issues and has been lingering until midday recently, and it's expected to continue there for the next few days also. Lastly, could this be the future of airports? The Netherlands Aerospace Centre believes we need to rethink the way we design runways. And this clip of a circular runway is getting attention. It's claimed 3 planes would be able to land and take off simultaneously and would mean they don't have to deal with those dangerous crosswinds. It's been trialled by some fighter pilots in places overseas and can handle 4 times the traffic of straight runways while requiring less space. If you're lucky, you've still got some time off, but many people are returning to work today, and with that comes a renewed focus on finances and the year ahead. Fraser McLeod is a senior private wealth advisor, and we're going to get his opinions now. Fraser, 2020 was a turbulent time for people's investments. What were the big movers last year?
Yeah, sure, it certainly was. Now here at Shaw Partners, it's certainly a good time for all investors at the beginning of the new year to have a review of what went on over the course of the last 12 months and also to reset what the objectives should be over the next 12 months. But the stock market, well, the stock market recovered very, very quickly indeed. We had a tremendous V-shaped recovery from March, and across the board we had many stocks which had enormous moves. So just to pick out a couple of those for you, stocks like Afterpay. Afterpay was down 80% at one point last March and ended up the year over 1,000%. We look overseas, stocks like Amazon, they finished the year 70% up, just global domination there, stay at home. And also stocks like Tesla, real fad stocks, they ended the year 7 times higher, and that one company worth more than every other car company put together.
And coming through and hopefully getting towards the end of this pandemic, what sorts of things do you believe people should be considering for their investments in 2021?
Well, it's all about the vaccine, Ed, isn't it? And it's also with that, it's all about interest rates staying low. So the market hasn't quite reached peak euphoria as of yet in our eyes, but we'll be looking at that one closely. And the trick, obviously, is to not leave the party too late. It's all about interest rates. Central banks, including the RBA, trying to ensure that the interest rates remain anchored at a very low point. There's a lot of debt out there in the world. There's $277 trillion worth of debt. That's quite a debt burden for governments, and as long as the interest rates stay low, then we do believe that the stock market could go significantly higher from here.
And how stable do you believe the markets are now, and do you think people should be concerned that things could turn badly?
Well, I think we need to be considering what your objectives would be, and that depends on each individual investor. But in general, if interest rates stay low and whilst cash is earning nothing, then a relatively higher asset class risk like the stock market should be able to deliver you much more than cash in the bank. So a 6% return is much better than a 0% return, and that's what's going through many investors' figures, many investors' minds at the moment. So there's what many would describe a rational bubble happening in stock markets at the moment. As long as the vaccine works and as long as interest rates stay low, then the stock market could go significantly higher from here. And it could be the case that we'll see quite an earnings or profit recovery happening across the board in the corporate sector.
OK, Fraser McLeod, we thank you for your insight and for your time today.
Thank you indeed.
A new commercial by Australian retailer BCF is being investigated by the Advertising Standard Bureau. The ad takes aim at the pandemic, but has divided audiences after featuring a man eating a bat.
Shaz is a bit upset that somebody ate a bat, 'cause now she's at this jetty and not her uncle's London flat.
Not to everyone's taste, the ad has already been viewed at least 250,000 times on YouTube. They say dolphins are one of the smartest mammals on Earth, but have you ever seen one doing a cartwheel? Well, this man has captured it on film, a dolphin copying his acrobatic moves as he cartwheeled in an aquarium.
Oh my God, this is so cool.
That is cool. The video, which was posted on TikTok yesterday, now has 1.2 million views. To petrol prices around Adelaide now. There's no relief for those in the northern suburbs. The price around Salisbury Downs is $1.50 a litre for unleaded. Heading south, and prices are relatively similar, $1.50 at Hallett Cove this evening. Looking east, and there's no reprieve for motorists there, $1.53 along McGill Road at the moment. And west is looking best, an outlet on Grange Road today selling unleaded for $1.06 a litre. Well, here's our shot of the day now. 2 base jumpers leapt off the roof of an outdoor bar of the Grand Hyatt in the US city of Nashville. The 2 daredevils causing widespread panic for patrons who watched the event unfold.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy Oh my God! Oh my God!
Both men glided down to the street below, managing to land safely. It's almost time for 9 News at 6, but first, the latest weather forecast. That's coming up next.
Australian dream to see Uluru.
That is definitely it.
With the world locked down, we're setting the travel guides loose across Australia.
We've been to Turkey more times than we've been to this part of the world.
With old favourites.
It's okay to fart and relax your anus.
And new faces.
See, I noticed I've got the big ditch. But it's not the size of your ditch, it's how you blow it.
Watch out, Australia.
We actually got to sleep on top of one of these 7 wonders of the natural world.
You shouldn't talk about me like that.
Travel Guides Aussie Spectaculars coming in January on 9.
Roof. Can your roof stand up to the test of Australia's harsh weather? Let Roof Seal come into bat with a free roof inspection, checking for cracks, leaks, discoloration and weather damage. Great shot! That's 25% off when you get your tiled or iron roof restored. Or for a limited time only, pay no interest ever. Oh, that's out of the park. Put Roof Seal to the test, 25% off or pay no interest ever.
1336 7070.
Roof.
Indoor blinds, outdoor blinds. Call Better Blinds. What's better? Our buy 2 get 1 free sale is on now. That's buy 2 get 1 free. Locally made and installed. Call for your free measure and quote today. Better Blinds. They're simply better.
This month, Wallspan are offering free installation on all wardrobes. With an infinite number of designs and storage possibilities, their designers work with you to ensure a perfect fit. To have your wardrobe installed for free, hurry into Wallspan this month. Showrooms across Adelaide.
This summer, expect more from Climate and Dakin ducted reverse cycle. Control more with the latest touchscreen. A new technology makes cooling your home more efficient and quieter. Expect more from SA's #1 Dakin dealer. Come home to Climate.
Want to spray and forget? No scrubbing bathroom cleaner that works? How about a streak-free glass cleaner that's actually streak-free? And how do you get super shiny floors like the supermarkets? Visit the experts at Floormaster in Greenacres and our new store 373 Crossroad, Edwardstown.
Metropolitan for plumbing, Metropolitan for electrical, Metropolitan for air conditioning. Plumbing, electrical, air conditioning. Same prices for after hours. Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning.
Roof. Can your roof stand up to Australia's harsh weather? Put Roof Seal to the test. 25% off when you get your tiled or iron roof restored or pay no interest ever. Oh, that's out of the park.
1336 7070.
Roof.
Star-studded countdowns.
Oh my God! It all starts with reality TV shockers.
The hilarious 20 to 1, Tuesday on 9.
9 News at 6 is just moments away now. Will, what's coming up?
There's an urgent warning over a wireless charging pad. There are fears it could spark a fire. And the big back-to-school costs, just how much parents are spending and the areas where you can really save.
OK, we'll see you in a moment. But taking a look at the weather across South Australia today now. It started off quite windy for most of the state. We hit a top of 21 degrees in the city just after 5 p.m. The temperature down to 16 degrees overnight. Right now it's 20.5 degrees. Around the suburbs, Elizabeth reaching 23, slightly warmer with 24 at Mawson Lakes, slightly cooler in the hills, 17 for Mount Lofty. Across the country tomorrow, Perth heading for a very warm 36 degrees, 27 in Sydney with a possible storm. Melbourne is expecting a high of just 20. Back home, and it is still remaining quite cool for summer, heading for 30 at Coober Pedy, 26 for Port Augusta, 25 for Clare, and a little bit cooler over on the west coast for Ceduna. Similar conditions for the south and southeast tomorrow, 28 at Renmark, much cooler in Victor Harbour, just 20 degrees the expected maximum tomorrow, and 20 degrees also for the Mount. Across the suburbs, 28 for Golden Grove, Marion 28, 21 for Mount Barker and Glenelg, reaching 24. Tomorrow in the city, you should expect to see a top of 24, dropping to a quite cool 13 tonight. And looking at the week ahead, quite similar conditions to today on Wednesday, but Thursday is where it really starts to change and warm up, a top of 28. Then climbing as we round out the week, 32 on Friday, and then for the weekend it should be sunny, 34 Saturday and 35 on Sunday. That's all for Adelaide's 9 News at 5. Thanks for your company this afternoon. It's now time for 9 News at 6.
Family heartbreak, a young father of 5 tragically killed in a crash near Kapunda. Our border with Victoria to stay open despite more cases, and what it will take to see restrictions ease with New South Wales. A teenager fronts court accused of attacking a police officer during New Year's celebrations at Glenelg. The hunt for 3 mystery millionaires in South Australia. Could you be one of them? And crowds slash for the Sydney Test as India digs in over Brisbane.
This is Adelaide's 9 News.